You know, Mary Ellen, the central idea I focused on in the book is that to effect change, leaders must master their communication approach. The traditional approach to communicating one's vision entails defining the problem, analyzing the problem, and recommending a solution. Throughout my time at the World Bank, however, I realized that storytelling was a powerful tool to use in inspiring others to follow my vision. It really boils down to 4 key steps: get attention, stimulate desire, reinforce with reason, and continue the conversation. Well, Mary Ellen, you don't have to be an exceptional person to exercise leadership and mobilize a following. I believe anyone has the potential to master their communication approach and storytelling ability with the right tools and a little bit of practice. In my book, The Secret Language of Leadership, I identify these tools as 6 key enablers. They are articulating a clear and inspiring change idea, committing to that idea, understanding your audience, using narrative intelligence, being truthful in your stories, and developing body language. Yeah, it's really simple, Mary Ellen. Remember back in grade school when we learned how to analyze stories by identifying the who, what, when, where, how, and why? Well, it really is that simple. Mastering your communication approach is really about thinking about communication in this framework. The who requires successful leaders to know their audience and be willing to communicate at all levels of their organization in order to build energy around the change initiative. The what sees leaders using negative stories to get attention and springboard stories to motivate interest. In addition, reinforcing data and information that are credible and relevant to the idea can complement these stories. The when and where are really about timing, ideally capitalizing on organizational shifts and communicating in relevant locations to the audience. The same story may have to be given multiple times, in different places, to different people, and in different ways. The how aspect requires that the leaders use narrative intelligence and always be truthful and authentic as they craft and shape their stories. And finally, the why aspect anchors it all together. You need to be committed to your goal and demonstrate that not only is the proposed change good for the company, but that the change is good for its own sake and not merely individual self-interest. I know some people view my book as a bit controversial, maybe as you say, simplifying the art of becoming a transformational leader. But the simple truth is that leadership is less about innate abilities and more about learned competencies and the use of narrative intelligence. I know many would argue that charisma, eloquence, and one's appearance play a key role in the influence a leader has. But I would say that these qualities, although good, are not necessary for effective transformational leadership. I think I want people to be cognizant of what they're saying on a regular basis. Given the potential positive or negative impact the words can and do have in conversations, I think that most people can admit that they've been guilty of thinking that they were practicing leadership, when in reality, they were really just exercising management, and in some ways, probably talking down to people. I think narrative intelligence is something you need to practice and continually learn from. It takes time to understand and react agilely to your audience or those you interact with. We live in such a fast-paced environment, and so the book is a good reminder to established and emerging leaders to slow down, engage with others, and understand the people they work with and the people they work for. One of my passages that I think is really relevant to healthcare is that basic change is more disruptive than we think. In the Canadian healthcare environment, or at least what I know of it, you are constantly looking to make things more efficient, less resource intensive, and aligned with the political agenda of the governing party. As you emerging leaders out there prepare yourselves and begin to frame your narrative stories, please do not underestimate what you are asking others to do when you propose change. One last thing, Mary Ellen. Anyone who's interested in learning more can explore my website, stevdenny.com, where you can buy a